Welcome back. Construction on the diverging diamond is set to wrap up in the fall of next year, but just as it ends, a new project will begin at State Road 64. Joining us for more on this work is Dave Hutchinson, the Executive Director of the Sarasota-Manatee Metropolitan Planning Organization, and Robin Stublin, Communications Specialist for the Florida Department of Transportation. Gentlemen, thank you both for joining us. Point of personal privilege, this is how I get to work every day. This is how I go home every day. And I will ask you both a question. What do you think are the most often comments that we get about these projects when we put them on Facebook or our website?
Well, I would imagine people want to know, first of all, why we can't do all these projects in the summertime.
You are right, sir.
Or at night.
Yeah.
You are right, sir.
I might say that we do these projects in the summertime. It's just some of them are 2-year, 2.5-year projects. We also do a lot of our work at night. This is Work Zone Awareness Month. We've had a couple of accidents in our work zones recently. Most of our contractors work all next to the roads, especially at night, because it's safer and there's less traffic.
Well, what kind of accidents?
We had one of our subcontractors, one of his employees, got clipped by a mirror of a truck in our Sumter to River Road project. That's south of Sarasota. I believe he's going to be okay. They did have some video of it, and so they are looking for that individual. If they have not already found him, I don't know.
I guess that's awful, but I guess the frustration of many drivers are that there are so many projects going on at one time that, you know, unfortunately you clear one backup and you head right into another, and a trip that should take 20 minutes takes, you know, 40. And would there be any possible way to avoid this?
Well, I'll get back on our end of it. It's always an inconvenience. We work and live, and our families work and live in these areas, and they're inconvenienced as well. We do everything we can. For instance, in our work zones, with the exception of the DDI, Diverging Diamond Interchange, where we have the temporary bridge, all of our work zones maintain their speed limit of 70 miles per hour along the interstate. We are just a very rapidly growing area. That's the reason why we have to do these projects. We do them when funding becomes available, especially the State Road 64 and I-75 project. And we'll get into that, I'm sure, in a couple of minutes. But the bottom line is these projects have to be done. There's never a good time to do them. We try as hard as we possibly can to help eliminate some of that discomfort for our drivers.
Well, just one final question in this area. Is it possible to stop the construction when you know there are peak travel times, whether it's morning drive or afternoon drive?
Well, our contractors are aware of this, and we don't micromanage our contractors, tell them when they got to do something, how they have to do it. But they schedule, for instance, you guys, your TV station receives road watches that tells you that we're going to be closing a particular lane during the nighttime hours. We have that open by 5 a.m. for that peak traffic, that traffic that's coming through. Then we turn around if we have to do additional work, and we don't close the lanes during the daytime on the interstate here in the University Parkway project. But if additional work needs to be done, it's not done during the middle of the rush hour. It's just that we have a large rush hour right now.
Dave, if you could tell us a little bit about the project on State Road 64, because even the other day, it was very difficult getting off of I-75 and going in that direction, and that really was late in the morning rush.
That is going to be one of the issues that this project will help solve. And as Commissioner Boss said, it's much better to get it done now, starting in a year and a half or so, than it would be to wait until our population increases even more. The project is designed to improve the safety both on State Road 64, getting on and off of I-75, and also getting on and off of I-75, you know, if you're going north and south.
Well, let me ask you this, and both of you can answer this question, but Is part of the factor here that our roads and highways were, not enough money was put into them over the last decade or two, and so now we're playing catch up because those roads are getting dangerous?
I don't think so. In all honesty, we have to look. We look years in advance. We have plans for 2040. Not plans, but we're looking ahead, talking ahead for 2040. They had those same plans back years ago. For instance, all construction begins on these interstates with what we call a project development and environment study. That study is the basis for any environmental impacts, whether it be noise barriers, sound barrier walls, that might be needed in heavily impacted areas. The decimals would increase. Any environmental concerns as far as plants, wetlands, animals, that sort of thing. It also it comes up with the best scenario, whether we do nothing or whether we increase, we increase it by however many lanes, or we do something with a bridge. All those things are considered. For every interchange, in Manatee and Sarasota County, that was completed in 2007. It was also signed off by the federal government in 2009. And the problem was, right at that point in time, we were in a recession. Right. And what they called the Great Recession. And so everybody had to tighten their belts. There wasn't a lot of money for construction back then. So we had to, we had to prioritize, and that's what Dave's organization does, the Metropolitan Planning Organization. They prioritize the projects and tells FDOT where they'd best like the money spent.
But so it also I would assume that you are the recipient of a lot of the complaints about this, including, as you saw in Kate's piece, business owners who say that flat out their businesses are being adversely affected by the construction right now.
No question that maintenance of traffic that Robin talked about is how the Department of Transportation tries to keep the traffic flowing. They do the best they can. I know that certain businesses can be adversely affected during a construction project, but there's only one thing worse than that, construction, and that's if congestion gets so bad that people can't actually get to and from the business.
And then they leave that particular area. They say, we're not coming there, traffic's too bad. And incidentally, the I-75, State Road 64, is strictly interchange area. That area, it's confined to that one area. It's not supposed to start until sometime in July of 2017, and the University Parkway DDI, for all intents and purposes, will be wrapping up in August of 2017. So there's very little overlap there.
We have less than a minute left, but I do want to ask you this: that once these projects are completed, is that it, or are we soon going to learn about yet another project that is going to tie up yet another area of I-75 or the roads around there?
There are many projects up and down I-75. Robin's actually got a website. People can go and see the list.
Yeah, if they go to swflroads.com, they can go in and click on future projects or current projects, and they'll see the latest and greatest information about those projects. It's pretty simple. They just pick their particular counties. They know that they'll see the projects that we have in various stages of design or PD&E studies. We also keep people abreast by going to our website and our social media, which is our Twitter account and our Facebook account.
And we'll have to leave it there. Gentlemen, thank you for coming in tonight, and we'll be back in just a minute.